So you'll notice in the program that we focus a great deal of our time today on employment and the importance of it in the success and ability of somebody to avoid poverty and sort of map out the life that they have envisioned for themselves. It is key to the success sequence, and you probably saw that in the video if you were here when we first started the program. Employment represents, in many ways, people's ability to form many of the most important lasting relationships that they will have. If you think about the time we spend at work, it's an expression of our creativity, our need to be productive and be needed, much in the way that Tim was talking about just now. And I'm excited because I get the chance to interview Marsha Smith. She is with Southwire. Are you still HR manager? Is that title changed?
No, I'm operations manager for the Carrollton facility of 12 for Life.
All right. So I should have given you a promotion in how I described it. But so operations manager, but she is, for our purposes, also over Southwire's 12 for Life program, and it's an apprenticeship program. And before we launch into the questions, the thing I want to talk to you about briefly about apprenticeships is that if you look at the research on interventions for young people and ways that we are able to get them into work if they are not college bound, what you will find and what our research has found is that apprenticeships are really the most cost-effective way to go about it. The cost of running the programs over the long haul versus the return on investment is phenomenal. It makes a connection for high school students with jobs that, potentially they can go and work for that company right after high school and after they've had their apprenticeship there, or maybe it prepares them with the skills to go on to a company that does similar work. The research is clear that apprenticeships actually help with graduation rates dramatically, and I think you're going to hear some of that here because it creates, a vision for young people about why they need their education in the first place, right? If you're struggling in school and don't see why it matters, the odds of you dropping out are high. So I love that you're here. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We want to see apprenticeships replicated, and I think you provide a terrific model at Southwire for how this could happen here. So before we jump into that, I want to know more about you. So can you tell us about you, how you came to Southwire, and how you came to be over this program?
So I was in human resources when I started with Southwire about 5 years ago. I was an HR manager, but I worked closely with the 12 for Life program. There's two programs. There's one in Alabama, and there's one here in Georgia. So in Alabama, I was part of the program, and I had the opportunity of becoming the manager as well. So I managed that program starting in 2016, and then the opportunity came available for me to join our original facility, the startup facility, which is in Carrollton, Georgia. So I moved here 2018 to be the operations manager at that facility, and it's been great.
Awesome. Earlier I was talking to Marsha, and she said that she's from Alabama and she's tired of catching flack from being from Alabama. So you guys take it easy on her. She's got nothing to be ashamed of. So tell us about the 12 for Life program. I know it has a long history, so can you give us a sense of how it started and what you guys are doing in the program?
So 12 for Life is a program that allows high school students, at least age 16, to come into a workforce, to work, and also as a partnership with the school system, be able to have a half a day of class. It's just like any type of co-op. What makes us so different is that we reached out to the school systems to form that partnership and to make it unique, kind of bridge those gaps, bring in transportation to get the students back and forth to school and to work, to make sure that they have a special type of schedule that will help meet the needs. We targeted those that were at risk of not graduating from high school specifically, and let the schools tell us who those students are so we could help bridge that gap with credit deficiencies, meet the need for those who had attendance issues, and also make sure that if there's a financial need that we were looking at that as well. So we allow them to work half day, go to school half day over 3 shifts. So if you need classes and they only offer them at your school, you can get those classes at your school at a certain time and then work a different shift. So we have an 8 to 12, a 1 to 5, and a 5:30 to 9:30 shift. So in having to meet that need and expanding our program, starting with about 70 students up to 300, we've added a school inside of our manufacturing facility. So you can get credits and go to school all day inside of our manufacturing facility and still attend work.
Am I right that you have a facility that's entirely run by these students?
That is correct.
And you said that you basically have 300 kids going through at a time?
Right now we have, it's around 200, but we've had up to 300. It depends on, how many we graduate each year. And we can graduate anywhere from 50 to 75 from the program. And so we'll hire those back and hire more students. It's a big deal. We have about 8 schools represented right now in about 3 counties. So we look to expand, but we make sure that we're meeting the needs of the school by transportation within at least 30 minutes from our facility.
And that's fantastic. At that scale, the impacts that you're having must be tremendous. And at that level, you can change a culture, right, of a community. And I'd love to hear and have you tell everybody what sort of outcomes are you seeing?
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing is being able to see someone who comes in with very little hope and seeing that individual be shaped and molded and taught work ethic and importance of getting an education. The biggest commitment to me is getting that first level of education done, that 12 years. And it's heartbreaking to me to see a student go to school for so many years and that last year just not be able to cross the line and make that first finish. So we make sure that we bridge that gap for them, that they get that high school diploma, and we see that student walk across the stage. We actually plan a special ceremony for them where we give them a bonus and we give them a gift, and we make it special just for them. We invite their family out. We have a special dinner for them and make it special and let them know that we appreciate them staying the course. Thank you. And so it's rewarding to us. We've seen students come from being homeless to being an intern in our facility and going on to be a full-time employee. And when you look at the impact of that, we pay our student employees $9 an hour. And we incentivize attendance. So that gives them an extra $1 an hour if you meet all of your 20 hours per week. So if you do that, you can make $10 an hour. So we want to be better than your McDonald's and your Taco Bells and your Burger King. So we want to make it an attractive place to work and also build a good skill set. So we watch students come in having financial issues, and we watch them start eating their favorite meal on Thursdays. And then we watch them grow and start buying clothes and buy their first car and buy clothes for their siblings and make sure that they're all right as well. So that's rewarding to us to see them grow and develop. And for me, the biggest reward for me is seeing that person, seeing that they have the ability to change their whole lineage from this point on.
So this is really your time to brag about the program. And I know somebody poo-pooed the idea of statistics earlier, but I think they're important to tell us about the scale of what you're doing. Like how many years have you been running the program, and how many students have you impacted? And can you get into a little bit of how you've directly impacted them in terms of graduation and things like that?
Wow. 2019, we've graduated over 2,900 students from our program since the start of it in 2007. So we're very proud of that. It is the biggest commitment that our company has done, and it's part of what we do as a company. We give back. It's one of our pillars of sustainability at Southwire, is giving back, and we're very committed to what we do, and that's why we do it at such a large scale.
Now, on the graduation question, you mentioned to me earlier that you've had a real impact in your community on graduation rates. Could you share that with us? Because it's phenomenal.
Yes. So graduation rates were around the 64th percentile range when we started working with the Carroll County school systems. In the Florence facilities in Alabama, it was around 67 percentile, so around the same percentage for both areas. And ironically, they've both boosted up into the 90 percentile range. This year, Carroll County went up to 94% graduation rate. And actually, in the state of Alabama, the 12 for Life program there has impacted them up to a 97 percentile.
That's amazing. All right. So we don't have a whole lot of time left, but one of the things I asked Marsha before we came up on stage was, Southwire, I mean, if you know of Southwire, you can't help but think of them as a larger company, because they are. They're worldwide at this point. But she said, we didn't start when we were that big, right? So we have entrepreneurs, company owners, nonprofits, all kinds of folks in the room. What would you say to them to encourage them, no matter the size of their business, to consider doing something like what you're doing to impact their local community? We have people here with hearts for this. Maybe they just need the encouragement or something that lets them know it's okay to take the risk. It'll work out. This is a young population, and trying to mix young people into a traditional workforce is tough. Imagine it is. You can tell me.
It is.
Any thoughts there?
I would say if you think you can't, you really can. You don't have to do it at the scale that we're doing it in 200 and 300 numbers, but you can start with one. And I would say that one of the most important things that you want to be mindful of that should be at the top is, carve out that place for an employee, a student employee. If you want that employee to be nurtured or mentored by an adult person in the facility, make sure it's a responsible adult. If you want to have more than one student employee, I would say carve out an area where they can be supervised by someone. So you will take away that risk of mixing the population. I would also say that you may not be able to have it in your budget to start, but if you just start being committed to the cause and committed to being that person that's going to create an opportunity to increase the quality of your community, that you can be as creative as you need to be, because that's what we've had to be. When we reached a place where we had gaps, we just met with the school system as a partner and said, if they had a problem, they would talk to us, we would talk to them if we saw something, and we're always able to work it out and bridge those gaps.
That's terrific. So we're basically out of time, but I just want to let you all know that if you would like to learn more about apprenticeships, the importance of apprenticeships to students who are not headed to college, we have more research. I think we might have some copies of it here. If not, you can go online and look for it. We also have connections with companies, large and small, that have tackled this at some level. Not all at the scale that Southwire has done by any means. But if you have any interest in trying to do it yourself, we would love to connect you with companies that have already taken that step and maybe get you the help you need to branch out. So will you all please help me thank Marsha for being here today and sharing the great work